Folks, next month we're going to be taking a detailed look at this idea of following Jesus. Jesus asked his disciples, "Drop everything and follow me." Jesus also said to other people in the Bible, wealthy people, "Go sell everything and follow me." And their response was no. But today we are still called to follow in Jesus' footsteps. We're still called to be covered in the dust of our rabbi. I'll explain what that phrase means next month. But as we look through this next month at this idea of in order to follow, you must believe. What is it we're supposed to believe? The second idea of are you listening? We talked about how listening is an important element of being obedient. But that week we're going to focus solely on this idea of listening. Third, to follow, you must value. What are we called to value? Fourth, there are others who have gone before us that followed. This is taking a look at some people that made the decision to give up everything and follow. To give up everything and do what they were called to do. And finally, asking ourselves that last Sunday of August, are you ready to follow yourself? Following is something that's very hard for us to do, especially if you are a natural born leader, like myself. If you put me in a group project, I'm going to be the guy that starts giving instructions. Yes, I understand that this has positives, and believe me, I understand that this has negatives. But as we look through this month, we'll realize that all of us are called to follow in our life. It involves going back to my very first Sunday where I talked about the big C word, control, being willing to let go of that. There are plenty of examples in the Bible of people who were unable to do that. So I encourage you to ask yourself and start thinking about this question of, are you ready to follow? I just want you to picture for a minute what Jesus did with his disciples. Jesus asked his disciples if they would follow him. This guy walking up to them, whether they were out fishing or working or no matter what they were doing, Jesus walks up to them and says, "Will you follow me?" It's an incredible thing to think about if you put yourself in their shoes. They trusted. They were willing to listen. They were willing to follow through on all these things that we're going to talk about next week. In my own personal life, I've come to a realization that it's not just enough to say that you're a Christian. You have to actually follow through with it. I can say that I'm an athlete, but until you actually see me doing something athletic, you don't know whether that's true or not. It's the same way with school. I can tell you I'm a really good student, but until you see what I get on papers, until you see my GPA, until you're able to have some form of an evaluation, there is no way for you to know whether I'm actually a good student or not. It's just words that I'm saying if there's no proof. So are you willing to follow? If Jesus were to come walking in through the back of the church right now and say, "Follow me," what would your response be? God bless.